Alright guys, what's going on? So, Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. First thing I gotta say, you're welcome.
Who's ready to talk?
Alright, so if you guys don't know, about a couple years ago at Dragon Con, I said this.
I'm gonna say this right now. We'll never see a Batman animated thing together. Now I'm just saying this right now out loud and having it being recorded, just so I can be wrong and so I can eat those words too.
So I said that just so I could be proven wrong, and that's exactly what happened. We actually got an animated version of Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. About a few weeks ago, I did a review of like my initial thoughts after I saw the movie. This one is going to be a more detailed review. I'm going to kind of go more into the details of what I liked about it. Obviously, if you've seen the other video, you guys know I really enjoyed this movie, and I'm just going to go into just deeper into it. I'm still going to try to keep this spoiler free, but I will be talking about some story elements that I did not bring up in the other one. So, just to let you know, I'm not going to give away big things, but there are going to be some small things I will give away. So when they announced this movie, I was kind of a little wary where this movie, what the tone of this movie was going to be. If you guys don't know, Warner Brothers Animation, they do a lot of direct-to-video releases. Like they have at least 4 a year just for DC alone, and then they have like a bunch of other ones. So I was wondering if the quality level of this movie was going to be up there with Batman Under the Red Hood, or was it going to be down there with Tom and Jerry and the Magic Ring? So that was like my big worry going in, and thankfully, like, this movie's basically on par with their DC like direct-to-video movies, which I actually really liked. And the tone actually, like, first I saw was rated PG-13, which actually made me happy just because it was, hey, we're gonna take this seriously. I thought they were gonna go more towards the PG route, and that we're gonna get something more like the two Adam West Batman movies, direct-to-video movies that we got, just because one is the Ninja Turtles name, and
monsters. Certainly Gotham needs more of those.
Powers Industrial.
Since Ninja Turtles is mainly viewed as a children's property, we get more of the silliness of the Turtles, like when it comes to like animation and just movies and that kind of stuff, like where I wasn't expecting this movie to be closer to the comics. And what this movie does, it does a great job of giving us like some of the best humor from Ninja Turtles, and some of like the more seriousness of the Ninja Turtles, where it doesn't lean heavily on one way or the other, and it gives us a great balance between the two, which I really liked. And what they actually do in this movie was, so I was expecting these characters to be more like the IDW Ninja Turtles, and they just kind of like go off from there. They make the Turtles like kind of their own, and they're almost of a mix of the 2003 Turtles with the 1987 Turtles, where when they pay the respects to like all the things from the classic cartoon and movies, we see that they pay like more respect to it, instead of like make fun of it, like we've seen in Turtles Forever or even in Trans-Dimensional Turtles, which I really liked how the outcome came from that. Now this is the anime movie, and basically the big two things to shine from animation is the actual like animation and designs, and then the voice work. And like, majority of the voice work is actually fantastic in this movie. So the turtles themselves, they're all voiced perfectly, and their voices really show what kind of characters they are. And the one I was really worried about the most was actually Leonardo.
You lose. Where's Shredder?
Because he's voiced by Eric Bauza, who's done both Tiger Claw and Splinter in the new Rise of the Ninja Turtles series. So he's always had that thick accent, and I was worried that Leonardo was gonna have that thick accent, but he completely sounds like Leonardo, and I completely forgot that it was him like halfway through the movie, which is good because every time I hear Splinter and Rise, I keep hearing Tiger Claw, and of course from there I still hear Yosemite Sam. So like, he does a great job, but the one who does the best is actually Kyle Mooney, who voices Michelangelo. He
The Swordbrella too? I think I love this little guy.
gets Michelangelo perfect. Even when he squeals, it is just fantastic because from right there, we just can tell what kind of character Mikey is, and he keeps that level of energy throughout the movie, which I really liked. And some of the other voices that I really liked, I really like Shredder. Shredder has this like kind of this Japanese accent.
The machine would be finished already if it was not for the Batman.
To him, which really adds into him, and he doesn't get like over the top like some of the other Shredders that we've heard in the past. I really like just his tone throughout the movie. Also, Troy Baker, he does both the voice of Batman and the Joker, and so at first I really thought that those two characters were going to sound so similar. Instead, he makes Batman sound just like Kevin Conroy.
Impressive form. Your father taught you well.
Which, like, I sometimes forgot that that's not Kevin Conroy. And then Joker, he makes Joker sound a lot like Mark Hamill.
You've got what you wanted, now pay up!
And I will say, he's done Joker before. He's done Joker in both Assault on Arkham, and also the video game Arkham Origins. And his voice here in this movie, I thought was better than the voice in those two projects. Also the fact like he sounded more like Mark Hamill in this movie than he did in those, in those it was supposed to be Mark Hamill. But yeah, but I will say for Troy, he does a better job as Batman. And if Kevin Conroy ever decides to say he doesn't want to be Batman ever again, and they want to use him to do his voice for now on, I'll be 100% okay with that. And we actually have Penguin in this movie, and
It's him! He's here!
Penguin is actually done by SpongeBob veteran Tom Kenny. And so if you guys don't know, Tom Kenny voiced the Penguin in the animated series The Batman. And so it was actually kind of cool having him back, and he returns with that whole Penguin persona, which it was just great. It was just great to hear him back from that, which I really enjoyed. Now, most of the voices, I'll say, really liked. There was one that I really felt was just bad, and that is Robin. So we see Robin. He looks like he's supposed to be 12, 13, but then when he talks, he sounds like he's 5.
Let go! You let go, dude!
And just throughout the whole movie, he just sounds so... And at first, I thought they hired a young kid, but no, it's actually an adult just doing like a really bad impression.
Listen, Shrimp, you don't want to do this.
Oh yes, I do.
There are other movies out there with young Robin, and they've had better voice actors. This one just did not gel with me at all. Like, sorry, Robin. So, obviously, I'm a huge Ninja Turtles fan. You guys 100% know that. I'm also a pretty big fan of Batman the Animated Series, and I felt like with this movie, they actually tried to incorporate that. In fact, like, they made the sky like kind of like purplish, almost kind of like that series, and then like we have the blips, and they actually like make references to the actual blimps, and like they actually like kind of question that, which actually I really liked. It was actually a really fun scene, and like, you know, Troy Baker voicing Batman and Joker, almost like the two iconic characters from that series. And now I know Tara Strong did not voice Harley Quinn in Batman the Animated Series, any of them, but she did take over the role eventually, and so like we actually got her back at as Harley, and just those kind of elements in there really gave me this Batman the Animated Series vibe.
Harley Quinn? Oh, fine. Dr. Harley Quinn.
See, and he says nurse.
So this movie is kind of based off the first Batman Ninja Turtles team up comic. If you guys don't know, not only like they team up more in the comic series, there's actually a comic series where Batman the Animated Series teams up with the 2012 Turtles. So it was actually kind of cool. Like, we kind of got that vibe in there, and hopefully we can get an actual like Batman Animated Series and 2012 Turtles like team up movie together. That would actually be really cool, and with all original voice actors, that would be fantastic.
You're not listening to me.
So speaking of the comic, like, what I actually really like what they do with this movie is that they actually make this movie its own. They don't try to do like a shot-for-shot remake of the actual comic itself. And yeah, what I actually liked about it that it kept it fresh, and it wasn't a retold story that I read like a few years ago, which I really enjoyed. There are some similarities. Like, one big thing that does happen in the comic that happens in here is like they have this big fight at Arkham Asylum. That happens. If you guys read the comic, you know like what surprises in there. The difference is that was the conclusion of the comic. Over here, it actually happens earlier, and the conclusion's like something 100% different. And there's also like just a few more differences, but they still have like the key players. Like, for example, we see Penguin, we see Ra's al Ghul, but they don't. But especially Penguin does not play the same role that Penguin did in the comic. And I like, especially with the comic was a 6-issue series, and then you have I believe it was 75 minutes. It was something around there, a movie. So you can't basically create a shot-for-shot story from there. So I like the liberties they took with this. In the comic, what happens is that the way that the Turtles go into Gotham is they came from a different dimension, and that's explained why New York and Gotham are two different places, and they can't exist in the same area.
Gotham and New York are pretty much the same. Donnie, are you kidding? Does New York have mad blimps flying around for no reason?
And here, we just get the explanation that, like, New York and Gotham are in the same globe. And the Turtles actually traveled here from New York to Gotham. And I actually really like they did that, because eventually what happens in the comics is that they have this kind of plot device where if the Turtles stay in Gotham for too long, they get stuck there forever and they can never return. And we don't get that. We don't get that in this movie, which I actually like, because that was just like one other like obstacle that we really didn't need in there. And I actually really like that, like, you know, that we have a world where like that the Turtles and Batman can be in the same world, and we don't have to cross dimensions or anything like that. I actually really enjoy that about it. Okay, so speaking of Batman, like, there was one part that kind of confused me a little bit, was when the Turtles first see Batman, they didn't know that he was real, and in fact, like, at one point they mentioned, like, oh, we thought he was a myth, and like they didn't know too much about him. And like, you know, so we see like they go to the library and they start like learning things about Batman. But then at one point Michelangelo finds out that Bruce Wayne is Batman, and he freaks out about it.
Did everyone else know that Batman is Bruce Wayne?
Showing that he knows who Bruce Wayne is. And that it's a little nitpicky for me, and I know, but I thought that was kind of strange that you would think in a world where Batman exists, that people would know more about this guy than the billionaire in a city. I just thought that was just kind of strange. Not that big of a deal, but I did think I was kind of like, they know Bruce Wayne, but they didn't know Batman. I thought that was kind of weird. Some of the other things that this movie does is they know who the audience for this movie is. So, you know, this is Warner Brothers. They're doing Ninja Turtles. They could have like, you know, stuck with the IDW comics. They could have like stuck with anything that was current or familiar. But instead, like, they kind of like make it. They kind of like make the characters their own, and they combine like the parts that like are very nostalgic for the people who grew up with Ninja Turtles, but didn't make them like goofy that the original cartoon was. And throughout the movie, there's like a bunch of Ninja Turtle references. Like, you know, we got references to the video games. We get references to the cartoon.
You do machines, I'm the party dude!
We get references to the movies. Like some of the funny lines from the movie are actually like in this movie.
Would the young masters care for some napkins?
What for?
I really like the way they presented the lines, and that some of them were done for comedic effect, and then some of them were just done like in just an iconic moment, which was actually pretty cool.
Bossa Nova.
Not only we get like references to that, we also get a reference to the most dangerous toy that was ever made. If you guys grew up in the late 80s, early 90s like I have, you guys know which Ninja Turtle toy that is. That, like, I swear I don't know how my brother's still alive, because I pressed that launcher at him so many times, and that thing just comes out like a bullet. But we get a reference. We get to see that toy like in action in this movie, which which I really liked, and some other like little references is the foot ninja or foot soldiers. Like, they are human, like they are like everywhere except for the cartoon, but they're in like that purple garb and they look like the foot soldiers from the 1987 cartoon. It was a really nice touch that they did right there. I actually really enjoyed that a lot. And I will say, like, one thing that really surprised me about this movie was, as I mentioned before, it's rated PG-13. I was surprised with the level of violence that we actually got in here. As I mentioned actually before, most Ninja Turtles media, when it gets presented, except for the comics, has always been geared more towards children. And like, there's the 2003 series, there's like, the 2 Michael Bay movies where they aged it up, but here we actually see like levels of violence that I was not expecting. Now, I will say the violence level in here is probably about the same as like most of the other DC direct-to-video movies. There are a lot of DC direct-to-video movies where they're worse than this. But I just wasn't expecting this this level for Turtles. And at one point, like, we even see some like very scary, violent imagery, which I was kind of like, whoa, and like that was kind of like my moment where, I mean, obviously my son right now is a baby, so I wouldn't have him watch it right now anyway. But that was the moment where I was kind of like, if he was around like 5 to 7, I would definitely watch this before I present it to him. Like, I would recommend, like, if you have a child that's under 10, watch this before you let them watch it. I mean, it's not so much, and like, I mean, and on TV, like on network TV, there are more violent TV shows and images out there, and in fact, there's the news. That's the most violent thing ever. But this one, like, I would say, just kind of caution. And especially if you're one of those that like your kids, they love like Rising Ninja Turtles. They may have watched like the 2012 series, but they're still kind of young. And if like, and you see this and you're like, and you're thinking like it's gonna be more at that level, just know that it's a little ramped up for the age, and so just kind of caution out there. But it's still good, and like, I'm pretty sure once my son turns 10, I will let him watch this like as many times as he wants. I'm pretty sure my wife will not agree with this statement, and she might edit this part out of the video. That's my take on that. Overall, really enjoyed this movie. This was, I mean, I had a level of expectation, and I knew that from my love of Ninja Turtles and the Warner Brothers direct-to-video movies, that I knew no matter what, I was going to enjoy this. I didn't know that I was going to enjoy it this much. This really exceeded my expectations.
This is pretty cool.
Pretty cool? This is amazing!
A lot, and like, they do keep it open a sequel. Hopefully this will sell enough so we will get another one. And you know what? I'm hoping this will become annual. That would be awesome if we can just get one of these like every year. Now, something I would actually really like, hopefully Nickelodeon, Viacom, Paramount, one of you guys, I think all you guys are the same people anyway. It would be awesome if you can like kind of take this format that Warner Brothers been doing for like the past 10 years. I think it's been more than that now. And if you can do like a quarter direct-to-video movie for Ninja Turtles, and we base it off of the IDW comics, that would be awesome. And just like kind of keep it in this tone, that would be so perfect. And that would be a great alternative for the Ninja Turtle fans who are more grown up and that are really disappointed with Rise. I know people, every time we do a Rise and Ninja Turtles video, like we see all the hate comments that are out there. So I think this would be a great alternative for that. So that way we get like the goofiness for TV that the children can watch over and over again. But for the more serious and older fans, they get something that they can look forward to every few months, and they know that, like, you know, this is geared towards them, like how this movie was, because this movie is definitely geared towards those fans, and it was excellent. So yeah, so if we can just have that, that would be perfect. Like, what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. Do you think this would be like an awesome thing to do, like just a, you know, a direct-to-video movie of Ninja Turtles, just straight Ninja Turtles? Let me know what you guys think about the movie. Did you guys enjoy it? Did you guys have fun with it? Oh, did you like Robin's voice? I want to know all that stuff in the comments below. There's only one way we can end this video, and that's going to be this. Alright, Ninja, vanish! It's pizza time. And that's going to be this. Alright, Ninja, vanish! And then over here I want you to put a cloud of smoke and just make me disappear.